didn't talk about that one. But the other part was the second day he came, the second session, he brought his wife along. And so there was a nice discussion of what's it like being the family member who's left here. And knowing and wondering and worrying about, what's going on when all of a sudden, you might get communication of sorts. And so the upside, the downside of being able to have that immediate communication, because I think something came up in the story was that he was on the phone or something. What's all that gunfire in the background? So, oh, honey, that's nothing. Don't worry about it,
Right.
But how can you not be? But I mean, so that's the other part is the human side, because people fail to remember or realize that for everyone that's over there are people left at home. I mean, that's why in the Navy painting we have the little girl who's looking out at you, and is that father leaving, or is he just coming back? So there's the families, and that's why it's important for people to understand, the Gold Star family and everything else that goes on. That it's a huge commitment that happens.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
like you just said too, the fact that you can interact and let people know the different jobs in the military, that we're not just out there to fight wars, we're there to interact with community, and especially with the National Guard in flooding situations or fires or whatever else, how called in immediately. I think people fail to remember that those are other missions that are very much everyday activities, just as important as defending the country. It's taking care of the people.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's hard to remember everything that everybody does.
Oh,
when it comes to military. I mean, especially with all the different branches, Homeland Security, with Coast Guard and all the different branches.
Those guys do everything.
Right.
The Coast Guard, every single person does everything.
Right. Right. I mean, it's easy to remember that things on the ground need to be protected, but with Air Force up in the air, that level of our life needs to be protected as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it definitely puts in a huge perspective, every painting, of what each branch specifically does.
Well, and that's why too, so that's what we're doing is, granted, we're going to have way more information than what can be utilized in a single hour long piece, but then there are the essays, and then there can be things that we don't necessarily use in that special that Jim can have like on the website, say, well, if you want to dig a little further on what we were talking about that day or something, go to this particular piece right here. So it continues to grow and evolve as time goes on. And again, a lot of it is the awareness. And for instance, the Minneapolis paper just being here a couple of weeks ago, they contacted me about 3 weeks ago. And I think in essence, what really happened was the arts writer was just looking for a story to do on Memorial Day that there might be some military arts. So she just went out and floated out, and this popped up, because very rare is artwork like this going on today.
It's the same with music. When it comes to military like that, there's history books, there's regular books about personal stories, but to capture a whole picture with that much history in it, I relate to as in music. There's a lot of pieces of music. There's specific pieces of music that were wrote for 9/11. It was a father, I believe it was a father or a husband, who wrote a piece of music and about 9/11. The whole piece of music, it changes. It gets really angry. You can tell when it gets really sad. He wrote on his emotions of what he was feeling after that whole disaster happened. And a piece of art, like painting art, can be the same way transcribed into like a piece of music art.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool.
That's very nice that you said that, because that's
Yeah.
important, because that's one of the things that we also discuss in length are the fact when the word art or artist is used, it doesn't just apply to painting. There are many
Right.
different disciplines. So it's going to be the music and the writing and the dance and
Yes.
theater. I mean, it encompasses many, many things, and that's
Yeah.
something that,
It's emotion, all
Yeah,
of it.
there you go.
Whether it's written in black and white as a music note or if it's written in full color.
There you go.
So yeah, I think that's awesome.
Got a little more than we thought right there. That was good. But so again, we'll just see where all this goes, and
Cool.
public television is aware of the fact of what we're up to, and
That's really cool.
yeah, so we've met with them, and so we just have to see what happens.
Yeah, we one of our performances that we did, it was for 9/11 remembrance down in the cities, and it was that piece I just talked about. I wish I remembered what it was. I think it has the word dream in it. I know that. We put together a PowerPoint video of different pictures from 9/11,
Oh, wow.
and we played it in the dark. That song to that video we put. It was.
Oh.
Even playing the music, like I'm getting goosebumps, like
No, I am
thinking
too.
about it, like
No, just tell
remembering
me,
it.
yeah, it's like, wow.
The whole audience was just silent. and I've never felt that much emotion playing music before. It was crazy, and I couldn't even see the video. I couldn't even see the video, but just playing the music and like how intense it got with the audience, you know, you could hear them breathe or, you know, sniffle, and that was crazy. It was the most emotional concert I've ever been at.
So how often do you perform?
Typically we do like every Memorial Day, we'll be at the State Veterans Memorial Day in Fort Snelling.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be at the cemetery that day. 4th of July, we normally do some parades or a sit-down concert. We were
Okay.
in St. Cloud 2 years ago doing that.
Okay.
Otherwise, it goes upon request. So Veterans Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, sometimes 9/11. When different cities have like their festivals, like Dams Day in Little Falls or Swanville Carnival. If they request us and we're able to, we'll go to it.
Okay.
So just kind of depends on how many people are looking for
Right,
music.
just bring the request sheets along tomorrow. Also, got to keep an eye on her.
Absolutely, yes.
She's got to rock and roll, so we got to let her go. She's has to get the gun and that stuff back by 3:30. That she'll
Yeah.
be back tomorrow, though. So
Yes.
So you take what you need to take.
I'll just take this. I'll
Take the whole
leave
thing, I
it
guess.
mounted, really. I don't know why I should have to take it off. Maybe put the lenses back on it. Okay. This one must be yours then?
Yeah, everything else belongs here.
Okay.
You can't take that, you know. So.
I won't. That was magic. Oh, yeah. That's why I'm trying to get back into like the painting part of my art and stuff. So I thought about it last night. I've been playing music for 15 years already, and I'm only 23. So
Wow.
I've been
Let me help you
playing
figure some
music
of this stuff.
for more than half of my life already.